I just want to say this on camera for the first time. I was probably introduced to porn around the same time that Kanye was. It didn't make me want to go suck a dick. Okay? That never entered my head. But apparently it entered his, right? Because he gave head to his like little cousin for like years because he watched
pause
porn.
on all of this. Like,
Yo,
pause.
You know what I'm saying? You got a damaged person.
Put the pause Richter on this shit up. Nah, man, I pray for him though, bro. But that what I'm saying.
You're praying for a child molester?
Who's the child molester?
He is.
Wait, Kanye's a child molester?
He was sexually abusing his younger cousin. Now he was a child himself.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read about it that much. I've been seeing a lot of Kanye highlights. I haven't read about it that much.
I'm letting you know what he said in a song. He made a song about it.
They be making AI songs now.
No, that came from his official Twitter account. That's him. He said that. This is the same guy that also wears Ku Klux Klan outfits. Same guy that has iced out swastikas and says he's a Nazi and he loves Hitler.
I mean, yeah.
I think that all comes from trauma.
Pedophilia, rats, and rapists are definitely part of the devil. You know,
okay,
that,
so
that
do you
comes
think
from the devil.
Kanye's evil? Based on your definition.
He had evil in him. You can still have evil in you and transfer back to the godly side, though.
Okay.
I believe that, too.
I mean, you're Irish?
Partly.
Partly. So were you raised, like, Catholic?
No.
Okay. Were you raised religious at all?
So, I had a friend named Bobby Normil, and the Normil family, a Haitian family, and I used to like stay the weekends at their house and shit like that, and they would take me to church, to a Haitian church when I was like in 5th grade and 6th grade, and I got saved. I got saved when I was in 6th grade, and I was into organized religion, you know, through that. I learned a lot about the Bible through a Haitian church in Dudley Square. And then, you know, I started adopting my own beliefs as I educated myself. Like, I didn't curse for a whole year from 6th grade. And you gotta understand, I'm a real special education student, like behavioral disorder. Like, they gave me medicine when I was in 6th grade.
What did they give you?
Adderall, Ritalin.
Adderall, really?
Well, Ritalin. It would be Adderall now, I guess.
What made them give you that medicine at such a young age?
Because I was bouncing off the walls and I was just having problems. I was a behavior disorder student. That's what they labeled me as. Extreme ADHD. I don't have ADHD like how regular people be like, oh, I got ADHD. No, like my shit is...
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Really?
Severely.
I mean, I have OCD, right?
Okay.
And to me, I feel like I've sort of directed it into a positive. Like, I know when I'm going through it, and I know that...
because this is going to make my ADHD go into another thing. We got to bring it back to what I was talking about.
Okay.
So, as I grew up in that church with the Normil family, shout out to them, I started coming up with my own ideas about religion. I felt God strongly, but I didn't feel like people, we'd walk by churches and people would be like, don't curse in front of the church. And I'd be like, but God is everywhere. What this building mean to me? Like, I stopped caring about certain things in the Bible. I still take certain things from the Bible to heart. You know, like Job and different scriptures and Psalms and stuff like that, but I stopped subscribing to what you would call organized religion, and I didn't want to go through a preacher to go to God. I wanted to go directly, so that's my like religious background. But yeah, I did get saved when I was in 6th grade. I didn't curse for the whole until like 7th grade for a whole year, which is crazy as like a kid. Yeah, so I'm self-religious.
Yeah, I was raised Jewish, had a bar mitzvah. I mean, I really just did it for my grandparents because they came, you know, my family came from Russia, and this was communist Russia, and you weren't allowed to practice religion. It was legal. You know, all the churches and synagogues were all shut down. So when they came over, like especially my grandfather, he just really made it a point to finally be able to express himself through his religion. And he was the one that was really going to like temple and everything else like that. So, you know, I told my grandparents I'd have a bar mitzvah. Unfortunately, my grandfather didn't live long enough to see it. My grandmother did. But after that, I was like, all right, I did what I told them I would do. I'm just gonna go do my own thing at this point.
Right.
You know, but listen, I have close friends who are very religious, close Muslim friends, close Christian friends, and I respect everything they do. You know, we don't have to, just because I don't agree with the same thing doesn't mean that there should be a friction between us.
No.
You know, if you believe in God, I totally respect the fact that you believe in God. That's all good.
100%.
You know, I'm never gonna
And I'm never gonna not stop telling you that God is in your life. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, you can pray for me. I'll appreciate it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? How did you and Jadakiss end up getting together?
I did a feature through my man Set Free. So my man Set Free took me to New York. He found me, like basically scouted me out of the Boston area, and I think he saw a video of me on World Star, and he thought I was a star, and he told me to come run around with him in New York. Started meeting people. I had a record at the time. He would just freeze a guy who just really networks hard. He went through his whole, he'd go through his whole phone contact list, and he's just hitting people. Who could we get on a remix? Raekwon, this person. He's calling people, no one's picking up the phone. He's like, you know who I know? I know Jadakiss, bro. I'm like, no, you don't know fucking Jadakiss. He's like, no, I know Jadakiss. And he calls Kiss, and Kiss picks up. And at the time, we're in the Bronx. And here go God. We're in the Bronx, and Kiss like, yeah, what's up, Free? Where you at? And Free's like, I'm at the compound, man. He had like an art studio kind of thing. And he's like, I'm at the compound, man. You gotta come see my studio. It's in the Bronx. And Kiss is like, I'm in the Bronx right now. I just picked up my man from the halfway house in the Bronx. Kiss's best friend, Kay Rosewood, had just got out of jail that same day. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He happened to be 5 minutes away from us when Free called him. You get him? I ain't gonna, you know what I mean?
Good.
But yeah, Kiss ended up pulling up. We chilled. I played him the record. He's like, that's you? I'm like, that's me, bro. And Free's like, yo, if we could get you on the song, like, just let us know, man. You know what I mean? We'll come on, how much? And Kiss was just like, just give me what y'all comfortable with giving me, man. I'll fuck with you. And he did the feature like that. We gave him a brown paper bag. And then I was living in New York in the Bronx at the time, and I started just going to every event or hosting that he was at. If he was at like Starlets, if he was at Lust, if he was at whatever clubs, anywhere I could get some kind of information that Kiss was gonna be, I'd just pop up on him just to try to get that face value and build that relationship. And I was coming from Mass where I'm moving around 30 guys, like 20 guys. I didn't have nobody with me out there. I started moving around by myself. But I realized, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a lot of people. At the time, I had to go fast. You know, I had to get in certain situations, and I'd be able to shake myself in the club by myself. Not too much money, but Kiss would see me, and he usually called me into the VIP section, and I'd chill with him. And those were some of the biggest nights of my life, just being able to sit next to Big Bro in the section, and him treating me like a celebrity. I don't got no money in my pocket at the time. He's just one of the realest people ever, and I stayed around him, but it was actually his man Ice Pick J who found out that I could sing. And Ice Pick J, rest in paradise, found out I could sing and told Kiss, like, you know this kid sings? He don't just rap, he sing. Like, they played in my singing shit, and then from there it was like, it was on. And Ice Pick J passed probably like 3 months after making that real introduction with me and Kiss on the musical level, like the getting signed level. He passed on. Kiss put me on the album called Ignatius, which was Ice Pick J's original name. I mean, government name, you know what I mean? So that was a big break for me.
So you're still signed to Jadakiss right now?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, I never mentioned this before, but Jadakiss owes me an interview.
How he owe you?
I'll explain it. So you're not the first artist that signed to Jadakiss, right?
I'm not the first one that signed to him.
Well, you're not the first rapper that Jadakiss signed to his label. The first rapper was Nino Man.
Okay.
Right? So when Nino Man was first coming out, and I'm looking at the video right now, 2015, Jadakiss's PR person was like, hey, listen, we got this new rapper named Nino Man. If you could interview him, I can guarantee you that Jadakiss will do an interview for you when he goes on his promo run. So we did the Nino Man interview. Jadakiss went on his promo run.
But did you hear it from Kiss?
I didn't hear it directly from Kiss.
Kiss is a man's man. Kiss is a man's man. So if Kiss told you that, I'd say that. Sometimes people will use an artist and say, yo, I got people that tell motherfuckers, yeah, do this for me. Millyz a bop, 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 bop. So if you heard it from Kiss, Kiss would be
I didn't hear it from Kiss.
If you heard it from
I'm
Kiss,
keeping it 100 right
Kiss
now.
is a man's man, like, you know?
So maybe I got played by the person that was in
no,
between
if Kiss
that was
told
trying
you,
to push.
If Kiss ever told any human he was gonna do something, he's doing it.
Well, I just learned a valuable lesson being in media, and that
For sure, but when
someone promises you something later on to do something now, my answer is always no now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
and get it direct from the artist too.
And get it
because a
directly from
lot
the
of times
artist.
as artists, we're kind of used as like, not him. You know, he's a boss, but I've been definitely used like a puppet in certain, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, like these days, like when I get this type of approach, I say, all right, let's record, you know, if like a bigger artist wants me to put on their small artist, okay, cool. Let's record your interview now, and I'll record the new artist after. Well, I'm not ready to drop anything now. That's cool. We'll record it now. I'll keep it in the can. You tell me when you're ready to drop it.
I'm fucking.
And then that's when you get the, well, what about, nah, and usually I'm good. Like I just learned an important lesson from that whole situation.
Word.
And you know, to all the media outlets, like,
I wouldn't attribute that to Kiss though, but I feel
okay, so maybe Kiss didn't say it. This is why I'm not saying that it came from Kiss's mouth. But the situation happened, and it is what it is. Shout out to Nino Man. Is he still doing his thing?
Yeah, shout out to Nino Man. He's killing it.
You know, he got a feature on Vlad TV, so
No
you know.
doubt.